Okay, we're back down at the shop today, going to try to get some work done. Coming up on tractor service time, and this time it's pretty much a full service. Engine oil change, hydraulic filter, air filter, the front end fluids, basically a complete service. And I just wanted to catch a little bit of that on video to hopefully help a couple of other Massey tractor users out on how to service their tractor. So I went this morning and I got 5 gallons of the Massey hydraulic fluid. I've got some Rotella oil for the engine oil and an assortment of AGCO filters for this unit. Anyway, we're going to get right down to it and hopefully get this tractor done before the rain starts. Okay, just real quick, the things you're going to need to do a complete service is some Rotella 1540. Big 5-gallon bucket of premium X or 821 XL semi-synthetic Permatran fluid, and a very large assortment of filters. This is the engine oil filter. I believe this is a hydraulic filter, and this should be the air cleaner. To kind of give you an idea of what parts you'll need. You'll also need something fairly large, and you really need a jack because you need to really jack the front end of this up just a little bit to get all the oil out. You'll need a jack and some tools. We're going to pull one of the tires off and actually clean out another filter that a lot of folks don't clean out, and it's basically the pickup filter on the hydraulic pump on this tractor. But you want to have all that before you start. And if you notice, I just washed the Massey last week when I put it up, so the maintenance will be a little bit easier. I recommend if you can. I'm not always able to, but I do try to clean the equipment before I do service. It just makes it a lot easier, a lot more cleanliness. Should help the tractor last longer. You don't want anything getting in any of this, any of these fluids or oils. So we're going to get to it. I'll probably start with the rear, go ahead and get that draining, and then I'll kind of be bouncing back and forth while things are draining and try to do this as efficiently as possible. Okay, we're at the back of the tractor now, and there's a drain plug right at the very bottom. It's actually up underneath here that we're going to remove. I'll just kind of swing you around here. It's going to be kind of dark. Okay, we're up on the passenger side now. That's the filter that we're going to change for the oil or hydraulic system. And there's also, behind one of the tires, there's a basically a cartridge that we're going to pull out and clean that as well during this service. But you want to put a fairly large oil pan up underneath here and get this rear end changed. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, I've got an oil pan shoved up underneath there. I had just enough room. You'll want a socket, and it's a 19 millimeter. So I'm going to start unloosening that bolt. I really don't want the bolt to come out. I've changed this before, obviously. It comes out really fast. So I've already got a shallow oil pan. It's very difficult to keep the oil in the oil pan if you let that bolt drop all the way out. It comes out, it's probably about as big around as my thumb, and it comes out all at once. We'll see how well I do here. One tip I'll mention, when you do this, you'll hear air sucking right here. If you'll kind of leave that cap in, it'll kind of control the oil level coming down. It's still coming out pretty quick, but it's keeping up. If you open this cap up, that oil will drain out in a matter of seconds. And unfortunately, This is just something you kind of got to babysit. I usually just take my time. I'm letting it fill the tray up and then letting that drain down into the pan just by sticking the bolt back up in there and slowing down the flow. And that's mainly just so I don't make as big of a mess. Okay, now we've got it down to a level that we can contain. Go ahead and pop this cap off here. And just going to let that sit sideways. And I'll let that drain for a while I'm taking off the other stuff. That way I'll get the most replacement that I can. That's what the drain plug looks like. Get a little focus going on there. Looks pretty clean. Okay, now that we've got it pretty much drained out, I kind of got started on the filter, but didn't notice that it pretty much has stopped draining. I'm going to go ahead and get that oil pan moved back over to my filter and finish unscrewing it. It's just like any other filter. You basically just unscrew and put the new one on. And that'll have all of the oil out and the new filter on. And the next thing we're going to do is take the tire off to get to the cartridge, and we'll pull that cartridge out, clean it out, and then we'll be to the point where we can start putting oil back in the rear of the tractor. Oh, it's running. Oh, it's running. So this is that filter. And get the camera to focus there. Not too bad. But it's still something you'll want to clean. Okay, so we got the rear end done. Transmission is complete. Moving on to the air cleaner. Some of the stuff is not up for service, although I did go ahead and get the fluids and filters for it. But the air cleaner definitely needs some service. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's pretty plugged up. Looks like maybe a rat had built a nest at some point up in the intake and that got sucked up in there. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that while we're in here. Alright, so that's pretty much it on today's maintenance. I did not get to the engine. It's not quite there yet, and I'm kind of running out of time. But we did get the air cleaner and the rear transaxle hydraulic system. Went pretty smooth. The only thing I'll caution you, my tires are loaded, so when you take that rear tire off, just be careful. It's pretty heavy. The technique I used is basically get it about just off the ground, unscrew the bolts, pull the tire off, and then actually push it onto the hub, jack up a little bit to get it to grab the center portion of the wheel, and then slowly get some screws in. And you can kind of spin it. Once you get a screw or two in, you can kind of spin the tire back and forth to get the threads to line up, but don't cross thread those. 70 foot-pounds for the rear, and I think it was a 22 millimeter socket. One cool thing is I did pretty much all this with that socket to drain the fluid and a 22 millimeter for the tire and the cartridge that we took out of the side to clean out the screen. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.